heraus, mach schnell. Get out, hurry up.
They were dragging people and kicking and pushing.
We started to hear shooting in the ghetto.
People who couldn't walk fast enough, they kicked them, they shot them on the spot.
They took some of the children and absolutely knocked their heads on the walls. They swung them by the legs and killed them that way.
There were corpses lying in the streets, blood all over.
We all saw it.
I ran to the corner to meet my group. My mother was already either behind me or ahead of me. I don't know, because I actually walked without my mother. I was afraid.
My husband had plans to escape through the sewers. So my husband left, and the German megaphones were announcing constantly, get out of the apartments, because if you get caught, you will be shot and we will be looking.
When I found out that they were killing people in the sewers, I went for Mila. I came over, there's no Mila there anymore.
I got scared, and I walked out. I took a little bundle with me, and I think I joined one of the very last groups from the ghetto going toward the camp.
Then I decided to hide, but the dogs what were going with the Nazis through the street will smell me out, so I start to move the bundles what people left when they were sent to the Plaszów already. And when the SS officer came close to me, I salute, report to him military way that I got the order from another officer to clean the road, and they start to laughing because it was a stupid order. But he was an officer. He hit me with the right patch and said, verschwind. This means get lost. I salute again, click my heels, turn it, and slowly I was going away till the next corner, and then I ran.
Those that remained in the ghetto were all murdered. Those friends that I had, I never saw them again. And so the ghetto was closed, and as I said, everyone found was liquidated and murdered.
And it was then that we realized nothing was gonna really save us.
When I first got to Plaszów, it looked like something that I've never seen before. It was gray, it had no color, and it was surrounded by barbed wire. It was depressing, very depressing.
The barracks were huge and very crowded. The bunk beds, they were really not like bunk beds, they were like shelves. Now, when you couldn't sit on it, you had to lay down.
And in the warm summer months, it was so terribly hot. It was like a shower of bed bugs. They used to go in our noses and in our ears.
Amnon Get, who was the commander of the camp, used to ride a big white horse. And he was riding the horse all through camp, and if somebody looked at him and he didn't like his looks, he just took out his pistol and shot.
If you walk too slow, you get shot. If you stop for a second carrying bricks, woman, stop for a second to catch breath. If he notices from balcony, he shoot you.
I was ordered to clean barracks. On the third day, N.G walked into the barrack for inspection. Suddenly, he stopped in front of me. And he said to the woman that was in charge of us, he says, if a Jewish girl is smart enough to clean a window on a sunny day, she probably is good for me. Send her to my house. When I arrived in this house, I was told to iron his shirt. Did I know how to iron a shirt? No. I never did anything home. My mom never let us do anything. I was the baby. All of a sudden, I felt a pull from the back by my braids and a slap on my cheek that everything swiveled in front of me. He said, in Austria, a girl your age knows how to iron a shirt properly, but you're too stupid, you are a Jew. And then he gave me such a beating. I was thrown down the stairs. And then he came down the few steps and he slapped me so many times. And I had to stand there, look straight in his face. You know how hard it was not to break down? You know how tough I became? I was like a rock. He had a couple of different hats hanging right near the entrance of the villa. And you know, it's amazing that I knew what hat he would put on that he would be killing people.
If he would put on a Tyrolean hat, you knew that day that he's going to kill a lot of people. When he came out wearing white gloves, you knew that he is out for slaughter. He's going to kill a lot of people.
Later, when he came through the gate of the villa, he would whistle. Like a happy whistle, like I felt he's content, he accomplished something.
There was a little hill in Płaszów where they were usually executing people.
They took out a whole group of people in front of the ravine. They asked us to get undressed.
And they made the people strip. They put them against the hill and they were going around with machine guns.
They shot me in my leg, And since this was already late afternoon, there were people already in the ravine. And I happened to wind up on the top of the people. And they started to cover up the graves, but not too much. They just put in few shovels of soil because it was late and they had enough killing of the whole day and they wanted to kill it, to finish it up. I don't know how long I was there, for 2 hours, for 3 hours, but it was already nighttime. I crawled and I came to the barrack. Well, they couldn't believe in the barrack that I came back from the dead.
The children that were smuggled to Płaszów from the ghetto, some of the parents gave their children away to Polish people, but there were still 300 children in Płaszów.
One day, they called us to come to the Appellplatz 1 hour ahead.
We didn't know why. Men, women, the whole camp.
And they were setting up machine guns all around us with SS guards. All of a sudden, through loudspeakers, they started playing music.
The Germans put on German lullabies.
They played the tune, "Mommy, buy me a little horsey."
And while they were playing music, trucks started coming in on the road facing the Appellplatz. They collected all the little children in the whole camp, and they put them on trucks, and they were taking them away.
At first we didn't realize it. Then all of a sudden we hear screaming and little hands waving.
Mother started running, and everybody started yelling.
The loudspeaker announced that if anybody would move, the children would be shot.
And it came over the loudspeaker, everybody lied down. And everybody lied down, but some of the mothers wouldn't. They started running toward the trucks, and they were shot. And they took away about 300-400 children, and they took them to Auschwitz. This was the end.
You know, we talk about people not resisting and not running away and all this, but there was resistance. We did resist. As hard as it was, and as dangerous as it was, people practiced their religion, celebrated holidays, which was all prohibited, of course, under penalty of death. You know, resisting isn't always with mechanical weapons. Whether it's singing songs or writing poems or telling jokes, they couldn't suppress that part of the spirit.
We would pretend that the women are lighting candles and making the blessing over the candles. And people had some special songs.
Some of them were humorous, but the humor was gallows humor. Treblinka dat is fajednidanaat. Kumtain meget nisrin, das ist Treblinka.
Puski nasze białe, stala powiewały. My Polish is no longer that very, very good, but I do remember this song because the heads were covered up with white coverings.
Get learned that we are musicians and called us to entertain the people, his guests. One drunk officer asked us to play Hungarian tune, which was banned before the war in Hungary and Poland. They call it suicidal tune, called Gloomy Sunday. It was a beautiful tune about a young boy in love with a girl. She left him, he committed suicide. He asked us to play the tune. He was a bit drunk. We play once. He asked us to play again, and again, about 6 times. And then he went on the balcony. He shot himself. He committed suicide.
Oskar Schindler started to come as his guest. And right from the beginning, I noticed he was rather different. He was always very happy. He drank a lot, but he was never drunk. He never was drunk, but he was always happy. His hands were always up when he talked. He was always center of everybody in